Hi, this is Steve Addison for the Movements Podcast, a podcast for people who want to multiply disciples and churches everywhere. Today we're down in Houston, Texas, where we're talking to Ray and Sara Vaughn about what it's like to pursue No Place Left together as a couple.
Before we were even married, we both were kind of running towards multiplication of disciples and churches kind of separately. I got involved maybe 2011, 2012. First met Jeff Sundell and really just clinged to him just to learn. God gave me a good mentor in Jeff, and just kind of was hanging at his coattails and just learning everything that we could about multiplication, movements, church planting. While I was there, I was in college, and so I was failing forward, working, a job in school full time, and then just going after multiplication. Seeing a lot of groups, a lot of multiplication across Columbia, South Carolina, and didn't have good ecclesiology or church planting necessarily. I think we were all still learning this, and of course, this is before No Place Left really even had the title. It was just at this point a collaboration of workers across different cities and states that are just saying, man, we want to see multiplication of God's glory. And we didn't know what to call it. We just were like, we just want to see God's heart, his kingdom come and advance. And we were committed to the four fields, to the process, which really gave us a common language to start talking and collaborating across the U.S., which really fueled me and gave me a lot of encouragement and to just keep working, because in Columbia, we didn't have a good team to start out with. I just felt like I was laboring alone. But God, little by little, started revealing just kind of next steps and learning through failures and, starting to see just God do some great things. And then through connecting with Don Waybright, God just kind of shifted me and encouraged me to come move to Houston, Texas through Don and his leadership and Jeff, and specifically to come be a missionary to the city of Houston. So running missionary strategies like you would in Thailand or India or the Middle East, but doing that in Houston, the same type of strategy.
Now, Ray, I heard that the reason you moved to Houston was so as you could be near Sara.
Yeah, so now that was a gift that the Lord gave me upon my obedience, I believe, to come to Houston. So Sara, well, why don't you share that part, how we met and all of that, babe?
Yeah, so I was actually working for Don and had came to Christ just a few years earlier and had caught the vision of No Place Left overseas, really seeing what God was doing through India. The work in India, and so started working for Don in the missions department, and then Ray came down to start doing trainings, and we went out on our first date, and he said, I'm praying about marrying you. And so, yeah.
Now, Sara, apart from me, was already living in a refugee apartment, trying to make disciples among refugees and Nepalis and Bhutanese Nepali, and she's the joke is that I saw her generational map, and I thought to myself I had to marry her. So,
but had you met each other before you moved down, Ray?
So one time, like 6 or
it was
9 months before we met at I think it was a mid-level or a 4-day.
So it was a mid-level that Nathan actually was leading in Houston.
Yeah, I think I was at that event.
There was a lot of people there, and I just remember the only thing I remembered about Ray was I asked him his name, and he said, my name's Ray Vaughn. And I said, your name is Raven? Like, he said it so fast, I thought that his first name was Ray Vaughn.
Yeah, no.
So that's all I remembered about him. And so then fast forward, like 9 months later.
She locked eyes, and
that was it.
It's all downhill.
So the rumor could be true that, Ray, you moved to Houston because, deep down you'd met Sara.
Absolutely. I think that, and to give credit where credit's due, Don Waybright was trying to make this work before I even moved to Houston. So, yeah, he was scheming. He's renowned for setting people up. He's really good at it right now.
So Don loves you and has a wonderful plan for your life, for your wife.
Yeah, that's right, for your wife. That's right.
So, okay, so you guys got together, you got married, and what happened next as a couples? Pursuing No Place Left there in Houston. What did that look like?
Yeah, so we kind of when Sarah and I got married, we just started running after city strategy full time together. There was a small transition. She shifted out of Sugar Creek in the office and started working with me more out in the harvest full time and just as a missionary.
What did that look like just in those early days? What was it like for you as a couple out in the harvest? Can you think of a memorable story from that time?
Our apartment when we first moved in.
Yeah. So Ray, not really knowing anything about Houston, just picked the first apartment complex he laid his eyes on. And it was a rough one. But
yeah, pretty ghetto, broken down.
But, rough communities come with rough people. And so we just got to pursue that apartment complex in those first few months. And I remember we were out prayer walking one night and ran into a girl named Haley, and Ray got to share the gospel with her. And did she follow Christ? But
she gave it to Christ.
Yeah, the first encounter, she decided to follow Jesus, and then we went back to follow up with her, and her boyfriend, Javi, was there, and I think he had a previous relationship with Jesus, but definitely wasn't walking with him then, and was just an awesome encounter. Both of them deciding to really commit to following Jesus. Ray got to baptize Javi in the pool, and then Javi got to baptize his girlfriend Haley, and we got to start walking through discipleship with them. And so that was just really exciting, in the beginning to see, okay, this is what the Lord can do when a couple is unified and together. And so that kind of started the journey as, as a couple, we share with couples. As a couple, we disciple couples. As a couple, we coach couples. And it's kind of like been our mentality ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. That home actually birthed that was really the beginnings of our team in Houston, where we were working, Andrew and Carly Coker and Roger Scholl, and just God gave them to us in a simple way, and we just started rolling out as a team across Houston to train churches, find leaders, and then pour ourselves into them, help them be fruitful and successful in disciple making and or church planting. And out of that, we've been able to see the past couple years, just God really raised up a team, taking local ownership of No Place Left and the strategy across the city of Houston.
Okay, and so as a couple and as a team, you're targeting local communities yourselves and gospel disciples, church starts, but you're also training across Houston.
That's right.
Mobilizing churches and other teams.
Yeah. City of 6.5 million, with a pretty heavily churched, mentality or background. It's the number one city for mega churches, but there's just a lot of sleeping Pauls, sleeping Timothys that are in these churches that if they just, God is not only speaks vision into their life, but then actually gives them some practical handles to run on and some tracks to run on. I feel like we've been seeing them actually get mobilized into the harvest and taking ownership of the Great Commission.
Well, can you think of, the story of one of those Timothys or Pauls, what you did to sort of find them and how you mobilized them?
Yeah, that's a good one. Angela. So this young couple in North Houston, Angelo and Brianna. Angelo is a little bit more timid. He was a part of a church, Woods Edge Community Church in North Houston. Also a pretty wonderful partner that God's using to spur movement on in Houston and beyond, actually. But Angelo was a little timid, and so was Brianna, but they had a big vision. They really wanted to share their faith and make disciples. So we started driving up. It was about an hour drive for us at the time. And we would go up every week, and we would just spend like 4 or 5 hours with them, just walking them through the process, showing them, modeling what it's like to share the gospel in their neighborhood, in their apartment complex. And so to help get over some fear, we just said, let's lower the bar a little bit. Just start praying for people. So they just started praying for people left and right. And then it gave them a little bit of boldness. And then they started asking the next question, are you far near to God? And can I show you a picture that changed my life?
And when you say praying for people, you meant offering prayer, not just praying at home for them, but approaching people. Just pray for the person. And
that's right. Okay. That's right.
And then that gave them courage to take the next step.
Yep. And then it gave them courage to see some wins. People actually want to be prayed for. So that encouraged them. And then they were able to take the next step. And fast forward, Angelo started making some goals. I'm going to share the gospel with every guy that I meet this week. Every time I see a guy, I'm going to share the gospel with him. He probably had like 40 plus gospel shares that week, just because he stuck to his. There was a season though when he would walk in a Walmart, he would try to dodge people because he knew he had to share with them based on what he said.
Wow.
But
Brianna started sharing with her coworkers. She was a pharmacist, and she saw one of her coworkers come to Christ, and then her coworker's husband and their family come to Christ, and they all got baptized. And so Angelo and Brianna both, and then they had a church that was meeting in their home that was full of new baptized believers from their apartment complex.
Yeah.
They're just on fire for the Lord. And it was an awesome opportunity for us, like I said earlier, as a couple, coach a couple. And so just to pour into their lives and just see the Lord work through their obedience.
Yeah, Angelo would intentionally go and share the gospel by the pool when people are at the pool, and then they would come to Christ, and they're already in their swimming suit, so they would get baptized immediately. And so it was really easy to get pretty immediate baptisms over there. It was a good strategy he used. So.
Now, you can't drive across town for everybody. So what was it about this couple who they weren't even ready to share the gospel? What was it about this couple that led you to think we should really invest some time in them?
I remember when we first met them, we got to share the 3 circles at a Woods Edge service. And I remember the first time we met them, they came up to us after the service and they said, we want to do what you're talking about. We think we already are. They said, we think we have one of those churches in our homes, but we really want to see that multiply, and we want to see other people do that. Could you help us with that? We're like, yes, we can absolutely help you with that. So just that initial vision that they had and understanding of, hey, I need to release the kingdom and be able to empower other people to do that, I think was just awesome.
Yeah, and not only that, but they were willing to, one, they had high level of obedience. Mm-hmm. So even though they had to lower the bar a little bit, they obeyed that as much as they can and very, very often. Mm-hmm. And then they also gave us a lot of time. So, when we came up, it wasn't just a quick hour. They sat with us at their kitchen table for 4 or 5 hours till 1 or 2 a.m., just working through the process, trying to understand it. And so we want to pour ourselves out into people like that.
Okay. And give us another story. Someone else that stands out as one of those Timothys.
I'll say, one guy, on our team, Roger actually just recently discovered a guy. He's Filipino. His name's JV, and he's a restaurant owner. And a young guy, he's a restaurant owner, just works really hard, pre-existing believer. But JV's very hungry, open, wanting to learn. And so Roger just starts pouring his life into JV and modeling for him how to share the gospel, specifically among his oikos in his restaurant. And so fast forward, JV now has 2 churches. He starts a church in his restaurant with coworkers, with people that are coming in, and they're gathering every week. I forget what day, Thursdays maybe? Wednesday? And then he's going out, sharing the gospel on a nearby college campus that he starts a gathering with new believers in a college campus on Sundays. And so it's just with students. That's pretty, yeah.
Okay.
But just Roger imitating that similar pattern. Look for those generals. Look for those laborers that are just, high on obedience. They're teachable, they're available, and they're faithful.
And typically, are you finding or meeting those Timothys and those Pauls because you're out training around the city?
Yeah, out training and just out like casting vision to existing believers. A lot of our leaders are existing believers that, had a desire to walk out in obedience some way to make disciples and plant churches, but they didn't really know how to do that. And so, yeah.
And just relationally referring, referrals, if you would, like we meet a guy. So this happened last night. This past couple weeks, we go to Ohio to train across Ohio. We meet a guy named Will. Will is being faithful. He's sharing the gospel. He just actually baptized while we were there, a guy from India that he led to Christ, just as he's putting the process to practice. And Will has a friend, a buddy of his, that he says is just as obedient as him. He's like, you got to get connected with him. He just moved to Houston. So sends us his contact, and we meet this guy. He comes to our church, and we just start walking with him a little bit. And he connects us to a guy in North Houston named Vinny that's like, yeah, I want to start a church. And so we met with him last night, and around a table till I think it was 2 a.m. or 1:30 a.m. We're around a table at a restaurant and just walking him through the process, doing some coaching, doing some training, even modeling with this guy named Jamal, who's our waiter. Just shared the gospel with Jamal. Jamal jumps up, so excited. He's actually Caribbean. He's from the Caribbean. His name's Jamal. He jumps up with joy. He gets down on his knees, prays to receive Christ as a waiter on the restaurant. We actually start walking it. He wants to try. He actually was saying things like, everyone needs to hear this. Just, we want to follow that line of discipleship and see what God does. But he's scheduled.
It's not a formal training.
Yeah,
You're at a restaurant late at night. The poor waiter can't go home.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're training there. I guess you got a pad or something. And then the waiter comes to know Christ in the training.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah, it's exciting.
That's better than Christmas,
Yeah.
that story.
Yeah.
I don't mean better than the event of Christmas.
Yeah, the real Christmas. Yeah. It's a good present. But yeah, God is definitely doing a lot. And and then even just like Sarah said, as a couple, coach a couple, one of the first couples that we met in Houston is Philip and Lacey. Mm-hmm. And they were pre-existing believers, had a vision to start a church. And God just opened up their heart to connect with us. And we just started trying to pour out everything that we've been given freely to give freely to them. And it's really spurred them on. And, they'll actually be there on Wednesday to you'll hear a little bit from his perspective. But Philip and Lacey just getting to meet with Sarah and I, and just really became really close friends and laborers.
So you're doing this as a couple.
Trying every day.
True.
What are you learning about how, God's brought you together for a purpose. Not just to do this ministry. There's a blessing for both of you in it. But what are you learning about a couple together in this mission?
I think one thing that we're learning is that, just like you said, God brought us together for a reason. And as we walk this out together, I think we get to model that for families. I think No Place Left has done an amazing job at showing this isn't just the dad's thing. This isn't just the husband's thing. This is the family's thing. And so just getting to walk that out, we train together, we travel together, we coach together, because it's important. And, if Ray is just meeting with the guys and it leaves half of the unit out, and so we just try to be really intentional to model that for families, that the wife is just as important and just as valuable. And when we walk that out together, I think the Lord blesses that. And he strengthens both of us, because Ray has strengths that I do not have. Yeah. And might have a few things that he doesn't have. So
more than a few.
We get to balance each other out in that. So I think it's been really cool, even when we travel, for people in other cities to see like, okay, this isn't just Ray's thing. This is what we do together. And I think it strengthens other people to be able to see that.
One thing that we've learned too, because we're still so newly married, I've been married for 2 years. And the first year we didn't have anybody live with us, but on the second year, this is a big takeaway for us. And we really learned that we enjoy this. but we opened up our home to allow people that are interested in learning this process and be discipled and grow in this to come move in with us. And so we had 2 girls come stay with us. So, Sarah was pouring into them and walking them through the process. One, a missionary that has come home from the Middle East to learn this process a little bit stronger so that they can be sent out. And then another who's a nurse who is just so faithful and sharing the gospel with their coworkers and trying to roll this out, and is actually prepping herself and possibly her future husband here soon to go overseas together to North India. So we're really excited.
What are some of the challenges as a couple being in this ministry together as partners?
You want to share the challenges, or you want me to share?
We have something?
Yeah, we got a lot.
Go for it.
So, all right. We were just talking about this morning. One thing again, gifting is, we complement each other a lot, but we also are 2 very different, unique people that Christ is using. One of the things that I love about Sarah that she's good at is she's such a go-getter. She owns, areas to such strong degree. She wants to make sure every door's knocked and, everyone has a chance to hear. And I'm a little bit more, so she adds a lot more structure, where I'm a little bit more like, don't want to be pegged down. I like to kind of go where I see anybody that's open and just kind of go from there. But both are right and neither one's wrong. And so just learning how to compromise and balance that, as well as sometimes having to divide and conquer is okay. And learning how to celebrate the fact that God has put certain places or people on Sarah's heart, and learning for her how to celebrate kind of what it is that I'm doing as well.
Yeah. We try to do as much as we can together, but there's just some, meetings with pastors or, when it is just a single guy that I just don't need to be there. And so just figuring out how to both utilize our time well. Like Ray said, divide and conquer. Yeah. I think
and Sarah is super, super high capacity, especially when it comes to tasks. Like she's a gifted host, like in hospitality is strong, and it's amazing. So she allows our home to be used for so much, as well as just a faithful practitioner. But she's also high capacity with tasks, so she can knock out 100 of them all day and not grow tired or weary. Whereas if I have to pay the rent, I'm burnt out. And but I'm high capacity, but in a different way, like more with people. Like I'll be up till 2 or 3 a.m. talking with people. Yeah. Sarah's wants to check out at like 10. So.
True. So just learning that doing it together doesn't always mean we are always together, because we don't have that 8 to 5 break like most people, and then we just come together at night. We're together all day long. And so just balancing that out and realizing like it's okay if I go to bed at 10 and Ray's still out coaching guys, and just finding that rhythm and that balance has been a learning curve for us.
Yeah, it's unique situation.
What about time off? Because in a sense, you're always on duty. I mean, you guys can just chat to the waiter and he comes to know Christ. So how do you have downtime when, there's people all around? What does that look like?
Work hard, play hard. I feel like I'm better at it than Sarah. So I have no problem getting away and going rock climbing for a couple days. Or we like to, when we do travel and train together, we'll try intentionally to take a couple days early or stay a couple days late and enjoy time with good friends like Steve Addison, Steve and Michelle, and go hike Snowdonia and in Wales and all that. Learning that from Troy, how to balance his time well with family. Mm-hmm. But one thing too that we learned actually from Carly and Andrew Coker, they made a kind of an admin time, just one day a week, just kind of like a couple hours, just as like a team meeting for their family. We started doing that, so we'll do like a team Vaughn meeting where we do a lot of bonding, and we just do that every Wednesday for about 3 or 4 hours and just walk, pray together, walk through just our week, our travel schedule, finances. Yeah. That's cool. It also adds rest to us. So it is something that we're doing together, and it keeps always on the same page. And there's no surprises. And then Sarah and I, favorite time is probably Mondays, which is today, Sabbath and date night. So
So this interview is eating into your date night.
No, not yet.
No, this isn't work. This is hanging out with a friend.
We have T-1 hour till date night.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And the great news is you guys, well, Sarah's pregnant.
Yeah, it turns out date night's a success.
Nice work.
Well, if you've enjoyed this episode, why don't you get on social media and spread the word? I'm Steve Addison for the Movements Podcast.